Most people think home heating is a problem solved by technology. Turn a dial, burn fuel, push hot air through ducts, and just hope the bill is manageable. The Vikings never had that luxury, and yet they survived centuries of severe winters in some of the harshest climates in Europe. They did it without furnaces, radiators, or constant fuel consumption. Their secret was not a single trick, but a unified system of building, layout, and material choice that turned the entire house into a heat-retaining organism. Once you understand how it worked, you start to see modern heating systems as pretty crude solutions to a problem Vikings already mastered. Backyard wisdom. Why Viking homes were designed to keep warmth rather than generate it. The first thing Viking builders understood was that making heat is easy, but keeping it is hard. A fire burns fast, but warmth disappears even faster if a structure allows it to escape. Viking homes were designed with the assumption that heat would be scarce and valuable. Every bit of warmth from bodies, cooking, animals, sunlight, and the earth itself had to be captured and held. This mindset can be applied today by shifting focus away from heat output and toward heat retention. Before adding any heater, Vikings would have asked where heat was leaking out. Drafts, thin walls, excessive ceiling height, and exposed floors were treated as threats, not inconveniences. How Viking longhouses used the ground as a natural thermal buffer. Many Viking homes were built partially below ground level. This was not accidental or primitive. Soil maintains a relatively stable temperature year-round. In winter, it is warmer than the air. By lowering the living space and anchoring walls into earth, Viking homes avoided dramatic temperature swings. A modern application of this principle can be as simple as improving foundation insulation or creating earth-bermed exterior walls. Basements, lower-level rooms, and even sunken seating areas benefit from ground temperature stability. The Vikings understood that the earth itself was a silent heat source. Why Viking walls were thick, heavy, and layered instead of thin and efficient-looking. Viking walls were massive. Timber frames were packed with turf, moss, clay, straw, and sometimes animal hair. Turf walls were especially effective because they blocked wind completely while trapping insulating air pockets within the grass roots. Wind was treated as a greater enemy than cold. Still air holds warmth. Moving air strips it away. Modern homes often lose heat not through temperature difference, but through air leakage. Sealing drafts, adding dense insulation, and prioritizing airtight construction follow the same principles Viking builders relied on. Even in those dark northern winters, sunlight actually played a vital role. Vikings, paid really close attention to the orientation of their homes. Openings and living areas were designed to face the low winter sun. Dark floors, hearthstones, and walls would soak up whatever solar warmth was available, then slowly release that heat after sunset. This approach honestly still works today. By figuring out where winter sunlight enters your home and placing thermal mass in those spots, you're basically continuing a Viking tradition. Stone tiles, brick walls, thick plaster, or even water containers can all store heat during the day, and then release it at night, all without burning any fuel. Animals were actually part of the heating system, not kept separate from it. In a lot of Viking settlements, livestock were housed in attached structures or even right beneath the living quarters. The body heat from animals would rise through those thick wooden floors and walls, warming the human spaces above. This source of heat worked around the clock, especially at night when temperatures really dropped. While, modern homeowners may not house animals indoors, the concept of shared heat still remains really relevant. Kitchens, greenhouses, compost systems, and mechanical rooms all produce heat. Placing them strategically so their warmth benefits living spaces can, reduce the need for additional heating. So, let's talk about how Viking hearths actually stored heat instead of just wasting it. When Vikings used fire, they made sure to use it efficiently. Their hearths were wide and low, and often surrounded by stone. Fires were burned hot and short, charging the stone with heat rather than just filling the room with smoke. Once the fire died down, the stone would continue radiating warmth for hours. This approach is honestly mirrored today in masonry heaters and rocket mass heaters. Even just placing thick stone or brick near a stove can improve heat retention dramatically. One controlled burn can easily outperform hours of inefficient heating. Why low ceilings and compact spaces mattered more than people realize. Viking homes were not tall or open. Ceilings were low, rooms were compact, and unused space was minimized. Warm air stayed where people lived and slept. There was no wasted volume to heat. Applying this now means zoning living areas, lowering ceilings where possible, and reducing vertical air loss. Curtains, room dividers, and sleeping alcoves concentrate warmth where it matters most. How controlled ventilation kept homes livable without losing heat. Despite their insulation, Viking homes were never sealed completely. Smoke holes and carefully managed airflow allowed moisture and stale air to escape slowly. Warm air exited at the highest point, while fresh air entered lower down, maintaining air quality without stripping warmth. Modern homes often fail by either sealing too tightly or venting excessively. Passive ventilation systems that move air slowly preserve heat while preventing condensation and mold. Why this Viking heating method still matters today. Vikings did not survive by burning more fuel. They survived by wasting none. Their homes were systems of conservation built around natural laws that still apply. In a world facing rising energy costs and unreliable infrastructure, this knowledge is not outdated. It is essential. If you value grounded, field-tested wisdom like this, subscribe to Backyard Wisdom, share this with someone who cares about self-reliance, and help keep these lessons alive. The past still offers solutions for those willing to learn from it.